The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Welcome back to the Virtuosos podcast. I'm your host, Jules Houston. But before we get into our Apes trilogy review and whatnot, just want to provide you guys a quick little update on the bracket challenge that we started about a month and a half ago. So basically, we set this up as a giveaway. Try to get people involved. Anybody that wanted to join, there was some people that didn't do a bracket. I mean, that's unfortunate. There's a few people, but it is what it is. Now that we're in the conference finals, the favorite was the Celtics for the year. Most people did pick the Celtics. The whole shit's like fucking green. But, we got some different outliers in there. Like, we got a Mavs guy in there who is tied for second, Chaos. And we have, I think that's it. Yeah, everybody else that's eligible to win the finals, everybody else has the Celtics. So, if you have the Celtics, you have the Mavs, Wolves, Pacers. Nobody has the Pacers. But if you have any of those teams, obviously you're still in the running. If you don't, probably eliminate it. It's hard to get any points in the finals if your team isn't in the finals. It's just that simple.
What's crazy? I know how you could put the two brackets. They only register my first bracket. My first bracket, I trolled. The Pelicans not in the finals.
Yeah, so I know. I tried to do two and then
way more points.
Yeah, I couldn't get my other one in, so I ain't gonna talk about it too much.
That's what you get for clowning. Take it seriously next time.
Yeah, so a few people tied for second, myself included. Obviously, we'll have to talk about proof of your bracket and whatnot, send us a screenshot, whatever the case may be. Like I said, the Celtics get eliminated. This is this bracket challenge is a little crazy, but for the most part, very successful giveaway. Obviously, getting people involved, but obviously, conference finals has started. Game apiece. Celtics lead, Mavericks lead. We were here during the semifinals, obviously, and about 2 weeks ago, we assumed that the better teams were prevailing, as they should be. But obviously, things don't go as planned. Sports are crazy. At the time we said that, I think the Wolves were 2-0. I want to say the Knicks were 2-0 or about to be 2-0. Let's say the Celtics might have been 1-1, but we know what that was all about. I think the Thunder might have been up 2-1. Things change, obviously. Knicks end up blowing their series. I wouldn't say the Thunder blew theirs, or I think they were even up. They might have just been up 1-0 even, but
I think we only took the first game and it was just back and forth until they pulled away.
Yeah, and then even with the Timberwolves, they were up 2-0. Went on their way home, end up fucking losing 3 straight.
Yep.
So obviously anything can happen. But so far, what's your review? Basically, even just the playoffs in general.
I think it had potential to be like way better than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was just too many injuries, especially in the earlier rounds in the East. You only can play who's in front of you, but we can only imagine how the East would have looked.
Exactly.
Even if Jimmy Butler played the way the Celtics been playing, like that could have went 6 games. If Giannis played, the Knicks didn't, all their injuries didn't happen.
Nass's played.
That's what I'm saying.
There's
like,
a lot of superlatives. Like you really gotta cover all bases.
If Doc Rivers wasn't a head coach,
that's what I mean. Like, come on, bro. Like if my man's Adrian Griffin didn't get fired for being successful, like that's why I don't. That's why my job, I'm lazy now because you're gonna get fired if you do good. So
you gotta really temper.
That's the reason.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the reason. But yeah, I definitely expect these 2 series to be good. I think I made a video on TikTok about what I think about the 2 series. Yeah, man. Injuries suck, but it's part of sports. I don't even think the Thunder would have made it that far. If everybody was healthy. But we say that for a different day.
Here he goes.
For a different day. Damian, for you for the playoffs so far, how you feeling about them? I mean,
I don't even want to talk about him. My team gone, bro. I don't want to talk about it. Nah, man. It's been fun. I mean, I guess I'm not going to complain about injuries because injuries happen in every sport.
Yeah.
Because if that was the case, then every sport would be perfect and we would all be happy.
Yeah. We wouldn't be happy, actually. We wouldn't. I'll tell you that much. A lot of teams get you need injuries.
Yeah, what's I'm saying. Like, injuries are literally the reason that teams get past to where they get to at the end of the day, and that's why when people even get mad, where they're like, "Oh, well, the Nuggets championship was a fluke because they didn't make it back to back." It's not that simple to make it to the finals multiple years in a row. LeBron and Curry had y'all thinking that. It's not that simple.
Man, I'm gonna say we told y'all in September, bro. It's hard to repeat in the NBA.
Yeah,
haven't had repeating champions since like 2018.
If we want to revisit that video, we're just telling y'all the facts. The odds of you going back to back, we talking about all time greats here that do it. Like we talking about Shaq and Kobe. We talking about LeBron, D-Wade, even just LeBron in general by itself. The Warriors teams. I mean, like those are generational teams. I don't see this Nuggets team being like one of the greatest ever. They are still lacking, obviously, in several places. Last year, I didn't think they were that great until they actually end up winning.
Right.
Like they're winning at home. It's like people do win at home. It's like when you do on the road, and obviously they end up pulling away from the Lakers, and that's when I was all right. They're a pretty good team, but looking at like the playoffs as a whole, I can't lie to y'all and say that I was watching the Cavs and Mavs series. I can't lie to y'all and say I was tuned into the Celtics and Heat because I just wasn't. Like
I didn't watch much.
I didn't care about Celtics and Heat because no Jimmy Butler. Yeah. I can't say I watched the Cavs and Magic because their games run at the same time Knicks games run.
Them shits was at 12 o'clock.
Like we talking,
them shits
I'm talking
over
like,
they had a game 7.
They got games at fucking noon. Like what are we talking about? Even with the Bucks and the Pacers, I'm just like, there's no Giannis. Dame, I think gets hurt in like game 2. Chris Middleton gets hurt in like game 3. It's like, what the fuck is the point of watching that series?
And no Thanasis.
That's just the East. That's the East. And even the Sixers weren't looking their healthiest. I mean, obviously we had the opportunity to beat them, and I'm glad we did. But like, look at this, like they're a better team than us. Like on paper, and they got the better stars. Embiid and Maxey are better than Brunson and whoever else you want to randomize it. They're better than them. And this is a game of stars. And as crazy as it sounds, like there was realistically no way I didn't see the Mavs make it to the conference final. I just did. There was no way. I think their stars just match up better all the way through. I didn't expect them to take game 1 last night. That shocked me. Wolves were basically dominating the whole game. That's what I thought.
Anthony
they were.
Edwards
Had a disaster class of the second half.
I mean,
I think
terrible.
he scored. He scored 6 in the second half. He was tired.
2 for 9.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got him chasing Kyrie the whole game, bro. That's not going to be.
Somebody on Twitter even made a good point. They're like, you guys talk all that shit about wanting your stars to play both sides of the ball. It's like, but there's sacrifices to that.
It's impossible,
Tired
especially in the playoffs.
shit.
And then I go back to the points like, well, he did great on Jamal Murray in the second half, yes, but he did not play Jamal Murray for the first 20-something quarters of that series. Until the second half of a do-or-die game, that's when it gets real. That's when it's serious. We don't need you guarding Kyrie and then trying to come down and score 30. It's not going to happen. I mean, obviously, you got the controversy with the off-the-basket interference. Textbook-wise, I think that's an off-the-basket interference. The ball is still over the cylinder. It literally is hovering over the cylinder.
It was still a cool play, though.
It was a great play.
Cat spamming that play though.
It was cool as fuck.
And I was like,
I'd have counted it off Aura alone.
And Cat had a great the deep ass 3 to take the lead. And I'm just like, I mean, maybe this is a game that the Wolves can grind out, and then second game they'll probably play better. Didn't end up happening that way. The way I look at the Mavs though, it's like they might be serious. They might be serious. I mean, we gassed at that PJ Washington trade for a reason. This team looks like a whole.
He literally won them fucking Mavs that series.
Dude, he looks like he looks like they look like a big 3. Realistically, like he's playing great defense. He's got the energy. He's got the 3-point making ability. I mean, he does everything that they need right now. I'm looking at the Mavs like, I mean, they take game 2 or even just they take the ones at home. It's like they made a lot of mistakes in the last 2 series and still prevailed in 6 in both of them. I didn't expect them to dominate how they did in the perimeter game against the Thunder. I didn't think they were gonna be that great on the perimeter as they were. They just were, unreal. I mean, obviously you got Luka and Kyrie, but that don't mean that you're gonna dominate the perimeter all the time. It's like you still got to get inside because I thought the lack of size from the Thunder was gonna help, but they ended up just playing like like a really good team, adjusting right. Shout out to Jason Kidd, obviously.
Yeah.
I always looked at him as an overrated coach, and then now he's obviously showing that he belongs now. It took him a while, but that's kind of what I want to get at. Like, it takes a minute. You can't just be like, well, first 2 years Jason Kidd wasn't that great, and his players last year we're gonna fire him. That'd been fucking stupid if they did.
You gotta have patience.
He's been coaching for the last decade, I want to say, maybe even more, probably more.
He's been a while. He's been around for a while.
He went from Bucks. He went from Bucks to
Nets. Was he in the? He was with the Nets.
He went from Bucks to Nets, and then
break. He was on the Mavs staff for a little bit with Carlisle,
and then took the head coaching job.
So I mean, shout out to the Mavs. They deserve it. They deserve that. That ability to compete. Obviously, you got two of the best players in the league, but on the other side of the coin, Pacers
fucking choked that game.
Celtics. I mean,
I gotta read the Skip Bayless tweet real quick.
It's just you talking about
second worst thing Skip Bayless ever tweeted. The Boston Celtics were so lucky. They had gagged that game away. Indiana gagged it right back. Skip Bayless 2024.
He having a run, man.
That's sad, man. I said in the TikTok, I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna lie. Pacers got a chance to make this like a really good ass series.
And they played the Celtics well all year,
they was up 3 with 3 seconds left. I swear they threw like 4 turnovers in the last minute. Like,
right, dude.
Just forcing shit. Then you don't foul.
The last turnover,
a tough ass 3.
The last turnover, I'm just like, this is just a team that just hasn't been here. Mm-hmm. Like that's all I've seen. Like a team that just hasn't been here.
Only one player is only Siakam. Outside of Siakam, nobody else has been in that predicament. Even then, Siakam wasn't coming down the court with the ball, orchestrating the offense. I think that was like second, third year. Like
second year,
like that's the way they choked that game away, man. You don't know. You might not get another chance to win a game. Like the way the NBA
especially
is,
on the road. That's like y'all undefeated at home. If anybody needs that game, it's y'all. Y'all have not lost at home in the playoffs yet. Y'all need that game.
Shit is sad, man. The game plan is there. The Celtics switch everything. I think that's a problem for them. I ain't gonna lie, but granted, Al Horford is getting fucking killed. Like, so I knew they was gonna switch everything. Miles Turner, Siakam did their thing. Halliburton in that fourth quarter OT though, he was in prison. I ain't gonna lie. I think he hit like 2 shots. Drew Holiday running him out of bounds.
I'm like, did that nigga just push him out of bounds?
That's what I'm saying. He don't want it enough.
Tripping over his feet, nigga.
He don't want it enough.
Slow your fucking ass down, bro. What are you jumping all over the crowd for, bro? But so far, I mean, yeah, pretty solid playoffs. I mean, I haven't really tuned into a playoffs like this much since like 2021 when Giannis had his like big run. The Suns were kind of crazy too, but I mean, it's been fun. It's been a fun playoff so far. Both game ones were great. I expect more great games, obviously, especially from the West side. I don't know. The East is like hasn't been great so far, so kind of trying to temper my expectations there. For you, Damien, you mentioned some horror movies, obviously in the past. Big horror movie fan. You say you want to talk about obviously this summer slate.
So there's just like a main 4 that I really want to talk about. I brought it up to you before we started the show. The one I'm looking forward to, probably second most right now. It's called In a Violent Nature. It's an interesting concept for a movie. This movie is a horror movie taking place solely from the perspective of the killer. So you are never with the survivors. You're not hiding with them. I mean, this is what's going on in the head of this person as they're doing these things. Horror has just kind of been on and off for the last couple of years. For every good one that you get, there's some really, really, really bad ones. So it's cool to see that this summer actually has like a pretty good stack of horror movies coming out. The one I'm probably anticipating most is Long Legs. The trailers they put out so far don't even give you anything. This movie is just pure mystery. Nicolas Cage is going to be in it, which is an interesting thing to say the least.
In 2024.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And so that's probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. They drop you like these little like 20-second clips. Like they're real mysterious. You're trying to piece everything together yourself. Even the trailers, nowadays, we've talked about it before on the show where trailers give away too much.
Yeah.
And like now you know the whole story. And like it's like, why am I going to see the movie if I know everything's going to happen? These trailers show you nothing. It is basically just the most bare minimum that you can get out of a trailer. And I like that. I like wanting to go into a movie and be surprised, especially when it's a horror movie. If there's a twist, if there's
that's great marketing in my opinion.
It is.
If you leave something to be desired, then it'll make people want to watch it, even if you don't even know what's going on. Obviously, it's like I want to learn what's going on, so I have to go see.
And I feel like because the trailers aren't scary, they're just mysterious. If you guys have time, like just go on YouTube. It's like 5 minutes for all of them. All right, my fault. I know you don't like scary stuff. It's just crazy, like trying to piece stuff together from the trailers and trying to figure out the movie. Like it is great marketing, trying to put that 2 and 2 together. Then right after, before that, we got Maxine, which is the third part of a trilogy. That's X, Pearl, and now Maxine. That's Mia Goth, one of my favorite actresses in Hollywood right now. I don't know too much about it. I like the first two movies. X had Kid Cudi in it, Jenna Ortega. That was like the start of it. Pearl was kind of like a prequel movie. So I'm cool to see how they're going to finish off this trilogy. They've been really good for horror. And then the last one is Alien, which this is, I don't really know how to say it. I don't know if it's a sequel, if it's just in the same universe. It's Alien Romulus, comes out in August. It's made by Fede Alvarez, who make the Evil Dead remake, which was phenomenal, very scary, gruesome. It seems like from what I saw of the trailers and the pictures that he's kind of going back to form for Alien. Alien's been a laughingstock for a while now, since like probably the first two, where like the people just kind of never really knew where to go with it, and it was kind of just getting goofy. So it's cool to see them kind of go back to their roots. It just feels like a good time for horror this summer, where people could like really make their mark with a lot of these movies. Like some of these movies, especially like since some of these are smaller pictures. Like I said, Long Legs isn't made by anybody crazy. There's no big names attached other than Nicolas Cage, which it is, like I said, 2024. And The Violent Nature is made by a smaller studio, and it's got a cool premise. So to have a kind of mixture of the smaller stuff within the bigger names like Maxine and
I've seen Alien. Maxine like a good amount across my lifetime. Yeah, honestly.
And that's like, and I'm just going like I said, just because I'm a fan of Mia Goth and I want to see the end of that trilogy. But it's just cool to have like horror. Like I feel like we never really get like big horror releases. Yeah. So it's cool to see that all summer we're packed with at least one a month going forward.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, like I wanted to see Strangers, obviously, and you mentioned like obviously you've seen the first one and whatnot, and it was, you don't want to compare, but it is hard not to compare horror movies because sometimes people, they want to be like scared or like they want something like actually make them jump, and the gruesome part about it, but some people just want to be entwined with a mystery, which I mean, like, which is obviously like out of the four that you named, they all have a little bit of something different. Obviously, you got the gruesome factor, you got the mystery with the long legs, and like obviously with a whole trilogy, like people are still intertwined. Like they're invested in that enough. You want to see if you watch the first two, obviously you're probably gonna watch the last one.
Exactly.
So I mean, obviously, like I said, not a big horror fan myself. I'm a pussy. I'm scared. I don't care.
I love horrors. I love horrors.
Yeah, we know them.
So I'm like, I don't have like a franchise that I like love to see, but like Strangers has like captivated me in a way. It's like I do want to see what it is about. I do want to see
it. And it's cool to, like I said, like I haven't seen the new one yet, and I will watch it though, just because I do love the original one. I didn't watch the second one that they came out with because they made a sequel like 10, 11 years later. Yeah. At that point, like I'm not watching a sequel that's that late. But like I said,
Shrek came out.
No,
today,
I'm not watching
it. Toy Story 5 come out, Endgame.
I'm not watching it, bro.
Endgame perfect.
Like when Woody's driving and Lightning McQueen, not gonna watch
that
it.
That is different. Those are different.
Come on, now.
Like, bro, because it's stuck in my head. That's why I will watch it.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I got the memory stuck in my head.
No, but I like you said, it just really depends on the kind of horror. Like it's hard to find horror now, but I feel like because it's in such a weird place where you either got something like, I don't like when horror relies too much on gore. You know what I'm saying? Or being on just making it like, that's kind of like why the Saw movies got bad.
Yo,
like the Saw movies,
I was about to say
the first like 2 or 3 Saw movies were phenomenal. They had still that mystery aspect,
storytelling,
and like they were telling you something. And then like the last like 4 were like, okay, y'all are just trying to make the most horrifying movie imaginable.
Yeah, let's just spill intestines over like plexiglass in front of the whole plaza. Like that opening was just like, all right, well, I know what kind of.
And that's why I like the last Saw, like when they made Saw 10, like that was like a return to form, where it's like they told a story and it was like actual character development and like good storytelling. It wasn't just let's show you the most outrageous BS that we could throw on a TV screen or a movie screen.
Like it was just not even like scary no more. Like the Jigsaw aspect kind of like goes away, and it's just
it's literally just
like a ridiculous game that makes no sense. That even if you survive, you're dead.
Yeah, it's like there's
like,
just all body
horror. Like, cut all into your stomach. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, like so the foot thing is different. Like, all right, you cut your foot off, you get out. Like in the mystery
behind
you're making
that choice. Yeah, like at least you're getting a choice there. Where it's like, what am I gonna do here? You know what I'm saying?
Saw 1 is very, very like was.
That's why it's still considered one of the best horror movies ever.
Yeah, because like, damn, I guess it is a franchise I am intertwined with, but it's like I didn't watch the last one obviously, but like once I got to like 4 or 5, I want to say I was just like,
I was scared to go see the newest one because I was like, damn, they're probably just gonna do the same thing.
I was just so checked out at that point.
Yeah, but then like when I left the theater, I was like, damn, that was way better than I expected it to be. So it was cool to actually see that. But no, like it'll be cool to see how these horror movies kind of like go with the reviews and all that. And like I said, I'm a big horror fan, so it's just cool for me to have that. I mean, every year there's always those big summer blockbusters, but I feel like it's never really horror related or anything like that. It's always action, it's a comedy, it's a drama, it's something like that. So to see horror kind of getting some type of love this summer is just really cool for me.
Yeah, like I said, not really like obviously huge into horror, but like I would like to watch more. Obviously, since we do this podcast, I don't want to be cause. I mean, like we do a lot of superhero shit, so it's like obviously it's nice to do and branch out into different genres. Obviously, Damon, a vivid lover of horrors.
Damon will be dropping a Garfield movie review next week. By the way.
He's the biggest Chris Pratt fan in the world.
So. He like lasagna. I like lasagna, so clearly gotta watch it.
Makes the most sense
when you say it like that.
But speaking of branching out, we never really talk about music. Obviously, we talk about scores, we talk about soundtracks. That's just like a small little bubble. Obviously, it's related to a movie, so we talk about it, and it's a huge factor into the movie. But obviously, here and there, little mentions of like Kendrick and Drake. Because I didn't want to get too much into it because it's very opinionated, and just some people they don't accept music the same way.
Yeah, people don't want to talk about it; they just want to pick a side. And
then like you already picked your side before this shit even started. But we have always talked about music together. Obviously, me and you and. Demond, not so much obviously us, but I see that we got similar obviously tastes. All of us do. Now, this is like with movies. This is like with sports. This is like with anything. Rankings are fucking impossible to really do because you don't watch every single thing, movement, like embodiment of work. You don't literally see everything.
Right.
So, Apple drops the top 100 albums
ever made.
And I mean, you say you got the list pulled up.
Yeah. So before I even start to name some of them,
the only thing I know is Lauryn Hill was number 1.
That's what I do vividly remember that. Yes.
And we'll get into that in a little bit, but it's like that's kind of why I agree with you. Where it's like when you do rankings and stuff like this, nobody will ever be happy.
Nobody, no.
So that's why I almost kind of wonder, like when Apple did this, like was it a group of 100 people? Was it a group of 10 people? Did they pick a couple writers and say, hey, listen, go rank these albums? Is it off streams? Is it off of ratings? Is it off like there? I don't even know the criteria they could have made for this.
That's what I was about to say. I don't know the criteria of what they're talking about.
Because I could tell you like
replays, how many streams they got.
Right. And that's like I don't know like
sales plus streams.
Is it going off of just Apple Music's like numbers? Is it going off of like numbers just in general? Because like first of all, I'm gonna start it off right now. Number 99 being Hotel California by the Eagles is insane. That's a fucking low ass ranking for that album. But Astroworld made it. All right, I guess.
So I know they did like a little podcast episode, kind of explaining like each I think like some albums. I don't know if it was all of them, but I know they had like they talked about the Lauryn Hill one, obviously because it's number 1. But I think they also talked about. What was number 7? Good Kid, Mad City. I think it was. They talked about that too. So I think they kind of sectioned off certain ones.
And like I said, like I just wish I knew the criteria because then I can understand. Like I get like Astroworld. Like Travis Scott was big before him, but Astroworld kind of put Travis Scott like on the map. That was, like,
it literally did.
That was like his biggest album, like, and it still is, and it's still probably Confessions by Usher's on there. That's number 95.
Crazy.
Solange has an album in the top 100. Her A Seat at the Table. Tyler Creator gets in there.
I think as he should though.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be that album, but I'm not surprised. Flower Boy was a very good album. Back in Black by AC/DC. Like you expect to see some of these bigger names. Lady Gaga's on there. There's some people I don't. Mary J. Blige made it. 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying is only number 82.
Damn,
it's crazy.
It's considered one of the greatest rap albums ever made, and
it's
crazy.
Only number 82. I was shocked by that. Obviously,
Eminem makes it at number 80 with the Marshall Mathers LP. Still, to me, relatively pretty low. Like for like Eminem, like I said, even if you want to call him if you could laugh at Eminem now for the joke that he became, but early, like late 90s, early 2000s Eminem, there was not a bigger artist in the world.
Early 2000s, man, untouchable. I'm not gonna lie.
So for his like biggest, technically his biggest album to only make it at number 80.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny made it. I didn't hear this album, but Un Verano Sin Ti, number 76. He's like one of the biggest artists in the world. I
expect him to be featured on this list, if not more than once.
SZA's SOS album made it at number 72, which was a good album. I didn't think it was even better than her debut album.
I ain't say that.
But then how crazy is that? Then Straight Outta Compton was only ranked 2 ahead of it.
So we gotta.
What was the criteria?
They need to come out and say like, all right, we basically like even if it's like 10 different factors, like personally for them replayability, like.
Yeah, like give me some like things to check off.
Like let's really talk about.
That's really what it is. Like I feel like they should have like really went in depth. Like okay, this is how we made this
production. List. We gotta talk about samples. We gotta talk. You know,
because then like Metallica's
like impact even. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like impact is probably should be the biggest.
I'm trying to find like some of these bigger ones. Like
they got like stats of like whose albums was on there the most, like or something like that.
No, nothing like that. Like it's just the top 100. Like I'm waiting to see like so Tupac's All Eyes on Me was only number 62. So that's what I mean. Like, I'm gonna say like then it's almost like how are you leveling it? Are you leveling it by like genre? Because like I don't see like there's like okay, so I know a rap album makes the top 10.
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. You kind of like contradict yourself a little bit. With
like D'Angelo has a top 100 album. Voodoo.
Gotcha.
Rihanna's Auntie made it number 55.
I like that album.
Yeah, that's a good album.
I'm glad that it got.
It looks like Prince is on there twice. He had Sign of the Times, and I know Purple Rain obviously made it.
Yeah, Purple Rain's in the top 10.
That Kate Bush album, the Running Up the Hill, made it number 50.
Run Up.
Yeah, Hounds of Love. I don't know any other song off that album but the Running Up the Hill one from Stranger Things, but that made it. Drake's Take Care for number 47. I didn't even see he made the list.
I did see that. There was like there's levels. Like that's not Kendrick is not about the fame or numbers, so like let's not do the 7 versus 47.
Yeah, I mean you can't really at that point. I'm trying to see Stevie Wonder made it. That's understandable. Outkast's I can never pronounce this. Equanimity?
Ain't that like one of their 2 albums? I only got like 2, right?
Well, it was this, and then that was the first one. I think that's the first one. Nas's Illmatic made it number 39.
That's crazy. That's like 39.
Enter the Wu-Tang, only number 37. Beyonce's self-titled album, Beyonce, is number 36.
I expect that to be higher.
We start to getting some pretty bigger ones as we start to head down. Like I know Radiohead, like it's crazy to see artists make it multiple times. Like if you're an artist on here that's made it multiple times, that's pretty big status. Like I said, I just wish we knew the criteria.
Yeah.
Ready to Die from Biggie, number 32. Billie Eilish made it top 30. With When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? I know a lot of people consider that her best album. It's not my personal favorite, but it is nice to see her make it. She's obviously, we've talked about her on the show. She's on a status that not many artists are for her age.
Yeah, we put her on a.
I'm looking now. It's not really many people that, if any at all, that got duplicate albums.
Yeah, it's only like a handful.
It's probably
only like a handful made it. Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon made it. Led Zeppelin, you started getting some more. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, only number 26.
Yeah, so I don't like trying to talk about my favorites or nothing, but
yeah, so I'm not even trying to be biased. I'm really not, but that is another album that's considered like one of the best albums ever made, and it's only number 26.
If that's the only Kanye album on there, then okay.
I like that Daft Punk made it. Discovery by Daft Punk made it. I like that. I'm a Daft Punk guy.
Yep.
That's always fun to see. The Beatles are one of the teams that made it a couple times. Revolver sits at 21. Now we start to crack the top 20. Dr. Dre's The Chronic sits at 19. That's a big one. Taylor Swift's 1989 sits at 18. But it's the remake. It's the Taylor's version where she like took all her masters back and like re-released it.
Oh.
So it's like I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not a Taylor Swift hater. I'm not a Swiftie, but I could listen to her music. I could put it on and enjoy it. I don't know if 18. I mean, that's kind of one of those things where it's like, is it going off numbers?
It has to be going off
because
numbers.
Like she's one of the biggest artists ever.
A lot of these.
That's kind of where I wonder, like, numbers have to be involved in it, but like I said, like, the streams, because I know obviously.
I was trying to read what this list is, and it's like they're very clear that it's an editorial list.
Oh,
and I think this group of guys and gals got together, and they included some other artists too.
Okay.
But it's weird because I agree with a lot of these albums. I don't know how you rank them in the top 100. You know, they threw them in a box.
It's impossible.
But then they left off. And again, I'm an old school guy, but like, you're gonna tell me like Frank Sinatra doesn't have an album anywhere in the top 100 albums of all
that's
time?
What I'm
saying.
So
like, are we really like in a small box here?
If you can't give me criteria, then like it's like if I gave you guys a test in school and you're like, how did I get a 0? Well, it was my criteria. Well, what is it? Oh, I can't tell you.
That's really.
Well,
that's
you'll
really
learn about it.
I wouldn't question nearly as much.
I think they want you to listen to their like pods discussions.
And basically listen to
yeah,
why
and I tried to. I got 7 minutes. And I'm like, this is boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Like the woman that was doing the Lauryn Hill one bored me.
There's a lot of great albums on that list though, and I agree with
I agree that these albums should be top 100. I just don't agree with how they're ranked.
Yeah, it's like
I
love that some will make
and
appearances.
I like Radiohead, but I'm not sure like 3 of their albums.
Yeah, they said they made it 3 times. That's what I'm saying. Like, some of these artists make it 2 or 3 times.
I can think of 2, like, but it's just weird. And like you said, it some of the albums that I know from my generation, I'm like they have a Springsteen album on there, and I don't even think that's Springsteen's best album.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't even. I mean, I guess it's important because of the time frame. Maybe that's criteria because of its impact.
I just need them to drop a list of how they ranked it. Like I said, I would be totally okay
with it.
Like,
is it impact on culture? Is that like a significant like?
I feel like that would be the most significant thing is impact. I feel like it would have to be, but I will get to that when we cross that bridge. And I'm pretty sure you know what I would say.
I'm about to say because if we're going off of that, man.
Don't say it yet.
Don't say it yet. If it's in the top 10, don't say it yet.
Yeah.
No.
And which one is it? Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, I'm Taylor Swift's number 18. Cool. Marvin Gaye sits there with What's Going On at 17. Awesome.
I love Marvin Gaye.
Awesome.
So I can't be mad. I wish it was higher, honestly.
Adele's 21 sits at 15. I would honestly probably put that higher. That's a perfect album to me.
Dude, I'm about to say, if I talk about albums that I could listen to anytime, anywhere,
that's considered to me
front to back, back to front.
That's considered a perfect album to me. I would have put that higher. Highway 61 Revisited by Bob Dylan. That's always that's a good one. Jay-Z's The Blueprint sitting at 13. I don't think that's Jay-Z's best album, and I don't think it should be that high.
I feel like that's starting to be more a consensus feeling that it's not his best album, but it is his most popular.
Yeah, like absolutely, and I totally agree with it.
It was. I think you could even consider it like his, his ascension. Like what I'm saying, like he took another step up. Like
there's another. So OK Computer by Radiohead makes it at number 12, and that's the only album from Radiohead that I could actually sit and listen to. I understand with that being top 12, but the other albums being in the top 100, I'm like, damn, how many more can they really fit in there?
Is that's tough. I mean, if they really get into like how they
Rumors
really
by Fleetwood Mac is at number 11. That's a great album. I'm not mad at that. Lemonade. So this is where I think cultural impact comes into place when we get to this top 10, and I'm gonna let Damon talk too because I've seen that he had one. I don't think that Lemonade should be top 10, but I understand because when that shit dropped, Beyonce skyrocketed once again, as she always does.
That's what I was saying. Like, if she took, I don't know if it was like a break or whatever, but this was when like the Jay-Z stuff popped out with her and Jay-Z, and like that's when like it really like emerged out. And I think and that was really like when people were like, she's the greatest of all time, period. Like better than Michael Jackson.
I don't like love the album, but I do know there's some songs on there where like that's all that got played.
I love Lemonade. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't say top 10 though.
But I understand. Like I said, if we're talking once again, if the criteria was like cultural impact, I get it. Yeah, that was when that album dropped. Everybody went crazy for it. They loved it. Number 9, Nevermind by Nirvana. That has to be in there. Something in the Way, Batman theme, clock it. Number 8, don't agree at all. Amy Winehouse, no. Get her ass out the top 10. I don't care. Rest in peace. A lot of people don't like Amy Winehouse, and I'm one of them. So, number 7.
We know what that's about, though.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, I'm not going to get into that. But number 7, Good Kid, Mad City. I'm going to say 2 things. I get it because it has charted since it released. It is Kendrick Lamar's, once again, if you want to consider that like an Ascension, that's an Ascension album. That put him on the map. A lot of great songs, great features. I mean, there's probably not a skippable song on the album. I don't know how that makes it over To Pimp a Butterfly.
I was about to say.
That's what I was gonna say.
I say if we talking about cultural impact, we have to really talk about something.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm like, if that's the case, then fucking that should be 6. Then
or To Pimp a Butterfly should be top 3.
100% sure that when I saw the top 10 and they were putting out the pictures, I thought for sure that To Pimp a Butterfly was going to be in the top 10.
But I swore on it because I remember seeing Good Kid, Mad City. I'm like, this has to be a typo almost. Like I was like almost that certain. Like, all right, this is we could put To Pimp a Butterfly right there and I'd be happy because at that time, like how everything was going on in the world with like police brutality and like Black Lives Matter and not obviously people not knowing or not being educated enough to pick a side or take a stand or whatever. And it's like when that came out at the perfect time. I mean, like when Kendrick went from like here, it's like all right, he's really good. He makes popular songs to fuck all the popular shit. I'm gonna say something.
Grammy performances ever.
Yes,
he literally performed in a prison outfit and like
Oh my God, it was what did he start with? I want to say Blacker the Berry. I think
it's literally one of the most most popular Grammy.
I still watch that
ever.
shit to this day.
It's an easy watch. That's
yeah,
why.
He gets out the handcuffs and then like they do like this.
I think he does.
Neon
I think
lights
he does
and
Black
shit.
He does All Right. He does a few songs off there, but it's like that's like one of the most.
Kendrick's a great fucking performer.
I still think Good Kid, Mad City deserve to be on there.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
If
just
that's
lower.
the case,
I just would have moved it up.
Butterfly should be.
I definitely think that if I would have been okay with Good Kid, Mad City being like top 25, top 20.
Yeah.
But To Pimp a Butterfly has no reason to be missing in the top.
If we talking about cultural impact, man, that shit is
number 6, Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. Okay, that makes sense. Next questionable album, Blonde. I'm a Frank Ocean guy to the fullest. I
liked Blonde, but
it's an amazing album, but like top 5, it's fuck top 10.
But this is where I get to the point where if it's about plays, Frank Ocean took like a 5-6 year break. But as like because people gassed it so much. People gassed it so much because he took that long ass break, and people were waiting so long for Frank Ocean to drop music. So I can understand why people thought like impact wise it was big, but like if we drop Channel Orange today and Blonde today, Channel Orange just doubles, triples, quadruples even like the impact that.
Like I said, and like it's another one of those. Like I said, I don't think it has any skips. I don't think there's any bad songs.
I wouldn't even go as far as like top 25 for that. Even to be honest with you, I mean I liked the album, but I didn't love it to the point where I'm like. I
definitely like Channel Orange better. I just don't understand why we have it. Like I said, I don't understand. Like I said, the top 5 kind of confuses me, but. It's all right, I guess.
Because we were going crazy at that time.
Because
I know he dropped like those like singles and shit, but not under his name and whatnot. So
I mean, the build up was huge. Obviously, when he finally did drop it was crazy. Number 4, Purple Rain. That's understandable. So like these, honestly, the last 4 all make sense.
Yeah.
Purple Rain from Prince. Number 3, Abbey Road from the Beatles. Obviously, that's like one of the most.
I thought that was gonna be number 1.
I thought it was gonna be number 1 too.
I did too. I didn't want it to be number 1, but I thought it was gonna be.
This is where I will say I think that Thriller should have been number
1. Dude, I was about to say. I said if it was up to me, obviously I feel like you talking about like impact, we're talking about like replayability, we talking about like perfect albums, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. Like I'm like all respect to Lauryn Hill, she's great.
Thriller has like the best 5-track run on an album.
Bro, I was about to say like that. I think run to like 2 to 7. I think like just.
I swear that shit got like 4 diamond songs. Like,
dude, like I don't understand.
I don't even think that's the Beatles' best album.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. That's
what I'm saying. A lot of people don't. That was a lot of the
Sgt. Pepper's the most iconic Beatles.
Bro, Thriller has
like, and I guess I can get Thriller. I mean, everybody. I mean, I don't like Michael Jackson. I never did, but like, I can understand why this list is on there.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's just, but it's on that so high in the list.
I was certain that Thriller would be be number 1.
Do you have anything on here that's absolutely not even close? Is there anything you look at this list and you're like, get this shit out of here? Like,
I said my few.
I ain't gonna lie. Lemonade at 10. If Beyonce cheated on me, it wouldn't be top 10. So because Jay-Z cheated on her, it's top 10. Mm-hmm. But if I cheated on her, like, come on, it's not gonna be top 10.
Don't mean nothing.
I guess I ain't got aura like
you
that.
Be single.
Damn.
Any artists or albums blaringly not in this list that like an artist that's missing?
I'd have to sit there and like really
artist that's I would have if they had the ranking of or like the number like how many are.
Did you say any Lil Wayne album?
No, he didn't make it at all.
Oh shit.
Lil Wayne didn't make it at all.
I guess I understand that.
I probably did that. Yeah. I tried to say that.
At the time, obviously, like the Carter 3 was probably the best album, like the best rap album for like almost like a 2-year run. I want to say. I think when like a 2-year run was like nothing was touching that shit until he came out with the Carter 4, and it was like, all right, that's good, but not as good as Carter 3. And he never obviously topped the Carter 3, in my opinion at least. But I don't know. It's what rank. It just feels like counterproductive because that's when you're like if it's just opinionated and it's just like whatever, then all right, you obviously not gonna make everybody happy. But when you put certain albums above others, like you're doing this for like. What I'm saying, traction, so people could talk about it. Because when I look at rankings in general, like it has to either go off like the numbers or the impact for me.
So you want to know somebody? You want to know an artist I don't think I named is Billy Joel.
I don't think you named Billy Joel.
Yeah, I don't. Billy Joel didn't make it not once.
Anything from Elton John?
Nope, Elton John definitely wasn't on there either.
Is he?
Oh, is he?
Goodbye Yellow Brick Rose on there.
Okay, I was hoping
I was gonna say
he would have something on there.
Is it?
So I just didn't hear you say it, so that's what I was thinking. Queen's
Queen
not on
definitely
here?
didn't make it. Nope. Oh yeah, Goodbye Yellow Brick.
You got 3 Radioheads on there, but no.
Right.
That's what I mean.
That's
I don't like being biased,
the problem
but
is this, like, they're like, you just disqualify yourself from me, like
for talking
you know,
music in general.
well, I mean, okay, because there's definitely some Queen albums that if you're gonna take like the 3rd best Radiohead album, it's better than every Queen album, and I'm not sure even which album I put on there. Like John Lennon's not on the list. I know he's there with the Beatles, but John Lennon's not on there. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of. It's just weird. Like it's just,
Queen is a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. No Queen is a little crazy. Just because I mean, like, they were huge in general. Like, it's not even like
I don't think Black Sabbath is on there either.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not even.
There's a lot of old rock
downplayed.
bands not on there.
AC/DC's on there. Blacksmiths.
Yeah, Black Sabbath didn't make it. AC/DC did. That's what I'm saying.
You
Like,
can go back and forth on that. Like that's at least a debatable thing.
yeah.
But like, but I don't know. I put like Queen up there.
Bruno Mars didn't make it. Bruno
Stones,
Mars had some
Rolling
insane
Stones
hit.
are on there somewhere.
Rolling
right?
Stones, I think, made it
Yeah,
once.
they made it on there.
No Bruno Mars.
No, Bruno
I
Mars is
mean,
pretty good.
for me, obviously, 24 Karat Magic is. I think that's 10 out of 10 album. I love the whole album, but his albums aren't long.
Yeah,
So like he does not like goes on like a crazy like 17, 18
No, the
songs.
Weeknd album. That's another big artist missing off of there. I'm not trying to go into.
Well,
the
it just,
ranking
I
of
guess
their
it depends
albums,
on what they consider album then, because wouldn't Kiss Slam be?
I wonder if they
birthday?
consider it because it's a trilogy technically.
Yeah, it's like would it be considered just like one whole thing? I don't know. Like, obviously you wanna see certain people feature like Queen. I just don't understand that. As huge as they were, as big as you're saying, like they got like one of the best vocalists like of all time. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got like this huge following. Their songs age well. You would think in the list 2024 they would make it, just somehow, some way. Even if you never heard a Queen song, you heard a Queen song. Like
No
if
Dirty
you even
Sprite
anything you
too,
did, you
like,
did. I don't know. I mean, it just feels counterproductive if you go, like I said, if you go so much on the opinion side and it's just like, oh, this is what we think, and we ratio it
I just
out.
feel like they should have took their time instead of like. I mean, I don't know how.
What's the
long
rush?
Yeah, I don't know how long it took them to make the list,
Yeah.
but maybe they should have kind of like dropped like a thing first, like, hey, listen, or I would have even been cool with them dropping like surveys even. Like,
Or if they just did it by genre, like the top 10 of like, the main genres, call it a day, or top 20
or do like
10,
the 10 best albums of 10 different genres.
Mm-hmm. Even just,
that
or
get you
even a
100.
year or like a decade. You know what I'm saying? Like just do from
What
from
do they call it? Like
whatever.
recency bias or whatever.
Recency
call it.
bias, yeah.
There's always that, like, oh, that's whatever. But then you can kind of. That's why, like, if you're gonna have a crew, you got to have a crew that can really look back and find all those missing pieces.
And that's what we were saying too. Is like how many albums did these people probably never even listen to? And
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, I didn't listen to a lot of albums. Even like I know songs.
Like, no Johnny Cash on there is kind of crazy. Like that's another name that's missing. Like I mean, Johnny Cash.
There's no country artists on there.
Yeah, like like I said, country.
Like, what are we talking
I guess
about?
I'm okay with that.
yeah,
But you would think country is a huge following.
Like what's her name? Stand by Your Man. What's her name? Like Tammy Wynette or one of those like iconic people. Like I can't think of any. I'm not a country person, but like there's got like you're gonna tell me one of them's not on there. Like
so I'm saying I feel like country music like for it's a big of a following that has, you would think somebody would have made it.
Somebody, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough ranking album. I can't even rank the top 10 albums in my life that I listen to.
No, I wouldn't be able to.
So it's like when Skylar was like top 15, I'm just like,
how do you
I'm
set
not about
like
to try.
the difference with like an album and even like maybe a football player or a sports athlete, like there's an emotional connection to those albums and people.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So they're gonna push up higher because you remember who you were hanging with or
when
whatever.
you first heard it or
like, it was a really
how you were
cool-
feeling when
Yeah,
you first
because
heard
like me and Damien listened to Damn for like a week straight.
it. Yeah. I
Like
consider
nothing
Damn
else.
like,
And it's like obviously I don't think that's on there, but I mean that's an emotional like attachment. That was spring break of our last spring break ever. 2017 is that we about to graduate in like a month and a half, and like we played the fuck out of that album. But like I'm not gonna be like that's better than something that's it's clearly not. Like I love the album, but I don't think it's.
if we doing this, put Hamilton on there then.
I said if we doing this, let's put Hamilton on there, and it better be one. I don't know. It's hard.
Like it's definitely like a fun practice, like and it's cool to see them do that. It's cool to see like the different things. But like I said, I just think it would have done them better had they just been like, hey, listen, we're gonna follow this, and that's just gonna be the end of it. At least give you some explanation. I'm not listening to your podcast.
Yeah,
I don't want to know what your thought process was.
They went on for hours too. It's like I don't know. I'm not podcast episode longer than the album, so it's like if you're playing the album between and all that, it's like I don't know. No Lil Durk for you? Like no Lil Durk album?
I think why you think I listen to Lil Durk?
I'm just asking, bro.
No NBA Young Boy.
You know what I'm saying?
What did you say last week about Gable Stevenson, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like speaking of.
Listen,
Gable,
if you'd have tried out for any team with the Bills, I would have said that. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't have said that.
Where was Soulja Boy at in this list though? Like,
if we talking about cultural impact,
like,
then let's talk.
Like, we was in a Discord yesterday. We was in a Discord the other day, and we playing a game. And Trey joined the Discord. You know he joined loud as shit.
Always.
He said this crazy bar. He said something sagging backwards is nigga. I said what? I'm like, who's you singing? He's like, bro, that's Soulja Boy. I'm like, what Soulja Boy is that, bro?
It is Soulja Boy.
And then I thought about the bar. I'm like, whoa.
And he went.
He
went. Yo, I'm telling you, Soulja Boy,
that
guy, man. Cultural impact wise, he can be 1-on-1 at that point.
He made an album. Like,
no barter 6 and no Dirty Sprite 2, bro. That's how I'm into it.
It's because he's on trial.
Yeah, I ain't thinking about that.
I mean, yeah, like ranking in general is like counterproductive because I see the emotional attachment. You know, you got players that or whatever that you feel like just deserve it, or like you just want to give somebody some type of recognition. But some people that you got to leave off because it is what it is. Mm-hmm. It ain't easy, obviously, to make no top 100, top 250, even if you just said top or 100 albums that I just love. Like, well, you didn't love this album? No, I said I. You know what I'm saying? But if you say top 100 of all time, that's when you get people feathers a little ruffled.
Speaking of recognition, all right. I'm looking at the camera when I say this. Shout out to Herb Jones, first team all defense. That's what I got to say right there.
Oh God.
Did Lou Dort make it? Because Lou Dort went real hard in the playoffs. You'd have thought he was gonna make a defensive team. That's all I'm gonna say.
We don't need that recognition. We don't need the recognition to be a good defensive player.
I'm just saying.
Is that what we doing though?
I'm just saying, like, he went really hard. Like, he didn't make no defensive teams. Like, did he start on Team Canada? Is he gonna start on Team Canada? Like Keto Bud.
Who? Lou Dort?
Yeah. Is he gonna start? He was on a Canada team.
I think he was though. I think he was. I think he was.
Is he gonna start on that team though?
But like, does that matter though?
No, it matter to me though.
I mean, he probably won't, obviously, but it's a lot of.
You picking and choosing.
There's a lot of good candidates.
You not starting over Andrew Wiggins?
Oh,
I don't know. He might. It might be Andrew Wiggins' last hurrah. So it's like, I gotta give him that platform.
I hate that.
Right.
Speaking of ranking though, we will be rating something. Obviously, can't rate something without ranking it. We finished up this Apes trilogy. Briefly, we could talk about the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. We kind of talked about it a little bit without talking about it. Try to stray off it a little bit.
We was beating around the bush.
What the fuck out the bush? We was beating around the bush. We were smacking on it. But for you, Damon, what's some things you loved about this movie? Yep. I agree. I agree.
So you watched the third movie though, right?
Yes, I did.
I just want to say that.
How you gonna get in the third movie?
I'm just saying.
Come on,
the
dude.
motherfucker Cobra shot him. He fell off a big ass tree, but that damn arrow killed him in the third movie. I mean, I'm gonna let that slide. I'm gonna let that slide.
Yeah, you lucky. You said it before I did.
You know what I'm saying? I'm low key mad at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let that slide. You know, the motherfucker got shot. Fell off a
two
big
different
ass
placements though. He got shot in the shoulder by Cobra.
I guess that makes sense.
He got shot in the side by the arrow.
I think
he fell off they whole damn. They tried nest. Just fell off that shit.
But monkeys climb trees all the time. They immune to fall damage.
I guess, man.
Well, actually, no, they're not. We're gonna talk about that in a second.
I mean, that's cool. But I think the second one was the best one.
Because Cobra also did. But continue.
I think the second one is the best out of the three.
Oh yeah. I feel like almost easily after watching all three. I think it's not even. That's not even.
I think the only thing that I like about War the most is I do think War, the character study in War is better. I think the way that like the War, everybody thinks it's like because it's like such a big monument thing where like everything's like a big scene. Mm-hmm. Like the connections to the characters are what carry the third movie.
I was just about
and that's something I'll talk about when we talk about the third one. Like I think that's like the only reason I think that the only edge I get the third one's like the character development, the way they talk about the stories, the internal feelings. Mm-hmm. Like the third one masterclass is that. Mm-hmm. But I do think also agree with you guys. The second one is the best.
Yeah, because they really like they didn't stray away from like what Caesar learned in the first movie. Like it stayed consistent the whole time. Like he was raised by humans. Like this is the way he learned. Like he learned compassion. He's not just full on ape like humans stuff like that.
That's what I was about to say. It's like the conflict remains and it is gonna stay and it makes sense to stay because you don't have crazy time jumps in these. Like this is literally like
Yeah,
basically just his life. It's just like his life from start to begin. Like,
I'm pretty sure like the time jump is from the first to the second movie is 10 years, and then the third movie it's only 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So it's not anything crazy.
We get a basically like I said his full life. You know
He's
what
like
I'm saying?
21 years old by the third movie.
It's nothing too crazy. Obviously, like from what what we get with the new one is like 300 time jump.
Yeah.
But like when you mentioned like how they stay consistent with that. I love it to the point where it's like obviously he has a trouble with like actually starting this real war with humans. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't he? Mm-hmm. He was taken care of by a human. He know there's good humans, and that's also another thing we'll get into later. But you continue to
and then I was gonna say I like the human aspect of it to where like they're desperate. They need to rely on because you gotta think about it. Humans created this. They basically created these apes. You know, so you see how desperate they are. They're like, yo, we gotta go to these motherfuckers for help. Like they're our last resort to keep humanity alive. Yeah. So that's what made Koba such a great villain because he fucked the whole thing up. He fucked the whole thing up. But from his perspective, like I could see why he did that. Like he was getting fucking destroyed, damn near almost killed by humans. Motherfuckers around him, they done came to the forest and shot him and shit. Like, so that made Koba a good villain, but the humans, like, being desperate, going to the Apes for help, going to Caesar, helping Caesar's wife out, like, that just show how desperate they is, like, because humanity's fucked. Like, humanity's fucked. So, that's what really made Koba's decision to, like, shoot Caesar and turn to 180. Like, that's what make it so, like, interesting. But
I don't want to put a stamp on anything, but that's, like, one of the, like, biggest turning points I've seen in, like, a movie, like, ever. Like, like that's just huge. Like, him shooting... Caesar is like insane.
And then he plotted it good as I'm like, damn, like I'm rooting for Caesar, but I'm like shit. I
wouldn't say it was perfect, obviously, but the way he went about it was very, very, very like good villain work. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, well, I'll let you get into a little bit before, but it's like, all right, well, this is my decision. Like I'm saying, I gotta. This is my cause for the apes that been, you know what I'm saying, tortured, and they didn't get raised by humans. It's different for us compared to you. But you can go ahead, Damien.
So, pause. No, I'm playing. So I'm gonna,
Maurice.
Yeah, like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to learn sign language. So I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what you said with Koba. So Koba is to me one of the better villains in a movie, which is hilarious because he's a monkey. And it really starts at the beginning of the movie. I mean, they kind of I said it it's pretty obvious he's gonna be a bad guy in the first movie.
He got the look.
I mean, yeah, he just got the look of a bad guy, of a bad guy. But the second movie, pretty early on, like as soon as the dude shoots Ash in the woods, that's all that Koba needs to start that revolution of listen, that humans are bad for all the apes. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like that one singular moment, like Caesar lost them at that rate, and I think it really the turning point is where him and Koba fight for the first time.
Yep.
In the dam, and Caesar whoops his ass. And when he goes to ask for forgiveness, he doesn't even let Caesar touch his hand. Caesar puts his hand out, and he takes his hand and runs away. And that's like where Koba's like, yeah, I'm done with you at that point. That's where it all sets in motion, where like Koba's like, I know what I want now. Yeah. And I'm going to set this in motion to where we're going to frame the humans and set them up. Yep. And even though, like I said, he goes about it in an almost perfect way, but it is still kind of like goofy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he gets the gun, and he's underneath, like, the tree, and Caesar spots him, but nobody else does. Like, which I get it. I mean, Caesar was looking at him and all that. But it's just, like, funny how they set it up. And then Koba peels, bro. Like, he disappears quick
out of here.
He's like, why are you that quick?
Then he bring a gun and a jacket. It was
like, come on, son. Like,
human did.
Yeah, like, come on, bro. But, I think the human relationship thing is cool. Like I said, the relationship between Caesar and Malcolm is cool. Where, like, you know, even though this human that they bring with them keeps doing everything wrong, Malcolm still finds a way to make Caesar believe that they're there for good. You know, like one guy does not define what all the humans are. And like that, you know, and I kind of like, he said, how, you know, Cornelia gets sick after giving birth to Cornelius, and they help her with the antibiotics. And, you know, like, and when they're at the waterfront, and the dude still brings a shotgun. Even though they say, leave your weapons at the car, he still sneaks the shotgun in there. Even though the apes just helped them survive because they were trapped in the tunnel, he still pulls a gun on them. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, like, and that's kind of why, you know, like, Koba getting him, I mean, he deserved that. Not gonna lie. But I think the movie really picks up once Koba decides to lead the attack into the city.
Yeah.
And I will say it is kind of like annoying how easily Koba was able to turn Blue Eyes against his dad. I think that's my biggest gripe with the second movie is like, I don't care how you look at your dad. If you're that easily turned against him, come on now. You know what I'm saying? I get you watch the...
If I start like, it's like nitpicking and obviously it's like, I mean, but it goes back to what Marie said. Like, apes are stupid.
Yeah.
So he gonna just believe what you tell him.
Yeah, I get it. Like you said, he's a kid, so he's easily, you know what I'm saying. And like Koba does do a good job, like you said, setting it up. Where like he's like, your dad doesn't trust me. I need you to look out for him. And then when your dad gets shot, okay, well you're gonna ride for your dad because you think he's dead. I get that. You know what I'm saying? That's
like the assumption was that Caesar was
dead. Yeah, and so like when they head into the city, like that's where like the movie like it's like insane. Like they lead the charge on San Francisco and. I love the misdirection where they're riding on the horses and Koba gets blown off his horse and Blue Eyes is like scared in the back and it looks like Koba's going to run back for Blue Eyes. No, he jacks another monkey's horse and just continues on his rampage into the city. And and then they find Hesdemon said they find Caesar somehow alive after he fell hundreds of feet.
Yeah,
with a gunshot wound.
Like how long was he there for? Like he got shot. What at
night? It had to have been like overnight.
Yeah, I think it was overnight.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna
at the most.
And then it's cool, like obviously you get like the connection where they bring him to like James Franco's house from the first movie, and like he sees like the video camera and all that. It's like the cool.
That's why I was gonna say the human connection because like when they really talk back, they go back to James Franco's character. I think that was the.
And I also like and when I was talking about fall damage, I wasn't even talking about Koba when they're invading the main building and Koba tells them to kill the humans. And Ash is like,
Ash does it. That's what I was thinking because you said
Ash was
because
like,
Koba
Ash is Rocket, which is Caesar's right hand man. Other than Maurice, that's Rocket's son. And Ash is like, no, like Caesar wouldn't want this. I'm not doing this. And Koba yokes him up.
And he's like,
Wick.
Grabs that he's dragging him. I was like, I thought that was cold as
bro.
Fuck.
And then like you said, like he just like no hesitation, just drops him off the ledge, and like and all the other monkeys are just like too scared to do anything. You know what I'm saying? And then like like once Blue Eyes finds Malcolm and they go back to the house, like that's like where like I said, like the coolest scene to me is when they're in the bus. And I said this last week when they're in the bus and they see Blue Eyes and then he draws the symbol on the bus and then they flip the bus over and I mean they crush like all those monkeys.
I was like,
I swear I was like I'm team
why
Caesar,
am I sitting
man.
on my couch?
And that movie, the end of that movie is just so easy to root for, man. Like once Caesar gets like I don't know how Caesar gets healthy that fast, but
because Caesar weak.
Koba weaker. Bro, that's so cold, and like the whole fight is just like super cool, and like I like how like Koba's like like you're not gonna kill me, like I know you're too weak to kill me, like you don't believe Ape will kill Ape, and Caesar just looks at him, just lets his ass fall, man. It's just so cool.
I heard Koba survived that. Like I looked it up. I heard he survived. I heard he's supposed to be in the third movie. Like,
I'm glad they didn't, because that's such an unrealistic survival.
Yeah, but I was gonna say that, and then like you like pivot to the third movie. How you had the donkeys or the monkeys or the apes that like turned on Caesar and them,
and
like
we're
that's
scared to come back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Scared to come back. Like that's just a perfect setup.
Yeah, like, that's smart to be like, yeah, like, I know he's not gonna let me back in, or like I'm scared of what he's gonna do if I try to come back. So I'd rather work with the humans. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like the whole like, but it's just so crazy how the third movie goes because that second movie gives you so much hope. Whereas like like the sun's setting or the sun's rising. I mean, and like like you see them, they all bow back to Caesar and all that because he's back. And then like and like they zooms in on his eyes, like that's such a cool ending to the movie. You're like, damn, like this is insane. And then how quickly the third movie flips that all right back on its head. It's like, damn. Yeah. And also the second movie has like one of the most insane openings ever.
I was about to say
the opening of Caesar with the war paint.
If I get to cinematography, I might not stop. But that opening scene is insane. I mean the zoom out and you get Caesar with the war paint on. Like there's aura. And then there's Caesar with the war paint on. Like, what are we talking about?
He's on a different level, man.
Like, that has to be a new word for that shit. I was like, as soon as it happened, I'm like, that's why you sent me that. Like, I'm literally, I'm running around my whole house and shit. Like, I'm acting weird.
I might learn how to walk like a monkey. I might buy those things.
It's up now. Like, I ain't gonna lie, but like, it's a lot of like really, really like good looking cinematography moments. I'm talking like every fight was great. Especially when they led the invasion to the city, it was like,
but the shot where he's on the tank and it's a 360 shot of him spinning the turret on the tank, but there's no cuts.
Yeah,
it's a perfect 360 spin of you seeing all the carnage going around as Koba's literally just driving this truck into the building, bro. It's like one of the best shots in the whole movie.
Dude, they fucking tweaked.
But I'm not surprised. Like
a movie made in 2014, literally 10 years ago.
But it's just like not even surprising to me, like I said, because it's so clear night and day how you see that Matt Reeves clearly made the second movie in the third as compared to that first movie.
That's what I was like.
And there's nothing against the guy that made the first movie, but like
makes sense.
To see the upgrade is like you see why. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Speaking of 2014, that Ninja Turtle movie wasn't fire though. Like y'all want to talk about those shots? Like,
we just naming names.
Like,
I didn't even. You know, I forgot Megan Fox was in that.
Oh, you talking about
the live action one?
I'm glad you
did.
I think they made 2 of them.
Yeah, there was like
the
2.
The second one was.
They were both bad.
Terrible.
It happened.
The most recent animated one was fire though.
Yeah. But I mean, y'all wrapped it up pretty nicely. But like the conflict between Caesar it's internal. Like I don't want to turn on the humans, but and he even says apes don't want war, but we will fight if we have to. And it's like obviously like this is how I feel, you know. But this is conflict, and I was explaining the movie to my friend because he's like, well, how is a movie about apes entertaining? I was like, well, if you really get into it, like it's kind of crazy. It's like humans being humans fuck shit up. This is a self-inflicted wound. This is the wrongdoing of themselves. But the apes aren't perfect either, and that's why Koba felt how he did, because I was fucked up by humans. I wasn't raised by no humans. Humans ruined me. That's what it really comes down to. Caesar thinks, well, humans make me, but I'm glad that but me meeting the apes made me who I am, obviously. Like, and now I'm able to lead them because of also my human teachings and the things I learned from the apes. And the combination of that is a powerful leader who just a natural born killer. Like he'll die for his apes, and obviously he would have died for James Franco's character, who I always forget his fucking name.
Will Rodman.
Yeah, Will. So it's like when you get that kind of conflict within yourself between the humans and like the human tendencies that happen today, the people are just too stupid, too stubborn to listen on somebody else, and they think they're superior. But like, why the fuck do you think you could fight an ape in general? Why do you think you could beat an ape in anything? They're gonna fuck you up, but they're so stubborn because they think they don't talk. But it's like when they first hear Caesar's talk, now they're shook. Well, what do we do better than at this point?
And the honesty, you saying that like leads perfectly into the beginning of the third movie, though.
Yeah.
Where like they still look at the apes as just
animals, as inferior.
They don't understand that how advanced they are at this point.
Yeah, that they already made their own civilization. They got their own protection schemes. They have weapons. They can defend themselves. They can also attack if they need to. And that's the main thing about the apes for me. It's like Caesar never attacked until he had to. Obviously we get into it with Thurman, but he never attacked. It was just always defense mode. Yeah. And it's like. But the humans being defenseless caused them to attack. They had to make Caesar defenseless and make him feel like he lost everything. Now I'm in attack mode. Now I have to go through what I'm going through with. So I mean, second movie, beautifully made. I give it like a 9 out of 10 to be honest.
Yeah, I would give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's a perfect movie.
I do. I think it's a perfect.
I think the score is also really good. It's Michael Giacchino. I always butcher his name. Same guy that he made mostly every great score you've probably seen from Matt Reeves is him. That's like they go hand in hand with each other.
But for War, now the opening quote was very cool. They talk about the rise, the dawn, and now the war. And I can't recall exactly what it said, but it basically wraps up like the first two. Obviously, we get, this is the aftermath of basically the last 2 years. I think we talked.
Yeah, it was like a 2 or 3 year time jump.
And Koba's dead. Caesar's still, they're still growing where they live, their population, and obviously there's more apes around now. They have their own way of life. They're away from the humans, but humans being humans, they're invading the apes, and that's how it starts. Obviously, like you said, somebody's being attacked all the time in the beginning of the movie. So they're on the attack, and humans think they got them, that they're sneaking up on them, and they're nervous as shit because now they know that these apes are more prepared, they're more advanced. We got to go in here expecting to die, basically. So that fight happens, and I'm just like, damn, the humans beating, they got the upper hand for it. Like, this is their job. Well, now Caesar got to fight, and now Caesar feel like he not even to this point. I'm talking, they fire back these arrows
and the smoke bombs.
I'm talking like these shit shoot up so fucking high, and I'm like, they just impaling these motherfuckers, and I was like, just the scene of all the arrows going up like that shit was fire.
You will never have an advantage in a fight pushing upward.
Literally, I'm talking, y'all are literally like crawling up some fucking snow, That's like one wrong move,
and that's what happens. One monkey escapes when they first start their attack, and that leads to them all basically getting killed.
Yep, and it was a phenomenal opening, like it just as Dawn was.
And that leads into like I'm saying, like when they capture the humans, and obviously like I said, it's cool that they have Red, which is the donkey, the gorilla. And, like, they got he has the Alpha Omega, which is the name of the military group in the movie. That he's got the brand on his back, on his forehead. He's got the donkey on his back. And you know what I'm saying? And as soon as they get up there, they're like, oh, shit, this is Caesar. They weren't expecting to run into Caesar. They're like, we've been looking for you for years.
Yeah, they said
they've been hunting for him this whole time. And Caesar's been completely hidden away this whole time. And Caesar does what he always does. He chooses peace. He's like, listen, I'm not going to kill you guys.
That was one of the coldest quotes ever. He said, are we going to send a message? He said, they are the message.
Yeah, he says it right to Maurice.
Hey, man, listen. Hey.
I'm about to name my kid Caesar.
If I could shake your hand, Andy Serkis, I can, you know what I'm saying? Shake your hand.
So hard,
I would, bro.
If daughter or son, I'm naming my kid Caesar.
Caesar Crittenden, girl, yes. Okay.
Regardless.
And so it's cool. Like you got to get the introduction of I forget the name of the white gorilla, man. I think it's Winter. I think they just call him Winter.
I think so.
And that is, like I said, it's just a cool thing to see, like that Caesar is still like this number one target. And this whole time, even though he's the leader of the ape colony, they still have not been able to find him this whole time. And then, like I said, even though he's faced with and you could see it in Caesar's face when they tell him that 63 apes had died in the conflict and how hurt he is by that. And instead of just taking these soldiers' lives, he still lets them live. And it's
important that the two soldiers he sends back.
Yeah, well, because this leads to his downfall.
Yeah,
him letting these people go leads to his downfall.
So obviously, you get the family aspect. Like now, you got Caesar has full blown family now. He has 2 kids now.
Yeah, Blue Eyes was already a couple years old in the second movie, and Cornelius was just born.
Yeah.
But now this is 3 years later, so Cornelius is 3 and Blue Eyes is probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah. So like you got the full family aspect. So obviously he's gonna disappear. Obviously he wants to focus on what he has going on. You know what I'm saying? That's obviously he still came back for what happened. I want to say Winter is like panicking.
Yeah, well, so that's what happens.
So Blue Eyes did leave though.
Yeah, Blue Eyes and Rocket go to find. That's where they find the oasis. They go and they say that like, on the other side of this desert, there's like this perfect place where the apes can start anew, like away from humans. Nobody will ever find us. And as soon as they hear that, Winter is like immediately like panicking, like he's well, this is right after. So crazy. They kept Red. They sent the soldiers back. They let Red was still there. Winter comes into the meeting, bloodied, saying that he got beat by Red. Was he bloodied?
Yeah, I thought he complained first and then went back and then he came back. Bloody was like on the hill. Was like he's like.
Oh yeah, because then they said because like Red had
like the traitor escaped.
Red had escaped, and so like so the donkey had got out and like attacked him. And so when Winter's at the thing and he's like, oh, well, there's this way. He's like, we got to leave right now. Like, we got to go right now. Like, let's leave tonight. Yeah. And Caesar's like, that's dumb. He's like, the only reason they even got to there is because they were able to sneak because there was 2 of them. He's like, if all of us leave at once, we're just putting ourselves out in the middle of harm's way for nothing. Yeah. And so he decides to no, we're going to wait. We're going to prepare and not make any rash decisions. But of course, this decision does lead to a tragedy for Caesar. Yeah. If Caesar had left right when Winter wanted to leave, he could have avoided this. Yeah.
So obviously, Caesar being, he's basically he's a war vet. Basically, he's been through a lot. He already knows what's going on. Like it's his first war. He's a veteran enough to know that when to move, when not to move. Very very sad scene. So I think one of the soldiers is like creeping up. He has like the laser and shit. So obviously you know where he's at. I think Blue Eyes comes out and attacks him. Mm-hmm. And then, Blue Eyes like prevails obviously because he attacked a soldier like without seeing. And then you see the laser and it spins and it locks onto his head. And then they cut away from it.
Well, so originally what happens is like there was like something happens in the cave. Like they had found something. Mm-hmm. And then that's why Caesar leaves. Caesar tells Blue Eyes to protect his mom and his brother. Mm-hmm. And he leaves. And he runs into Luca. Luca was on guard duty, and Luca almost shoots Caesar because he got scared.
Yeah.
Then they find the radio. They find the soldiers.
Caesar are together.
Yeah, and they find the soldiers' radio, and they hear King Kong is dead.
Yes.
And that's when they're like, and that's when Caesar realizes something's wrong.
Yeah, he's shot.
And he goes back to the thing, and not just any soldier. Woody Harrelson himself, the Colonel, had killed Blue Eyes, and
it was the way it happened because, he has the war paint.
Yeah, he's got the black war paint on,
and he just stares at Caesar, to see his pain. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like I gotta hurt.
I don't even think it's just to see his pain. I think he realized he made a mistake. He fucked up. He didn't want to kill them.
Oh yeah, it's true. He didn't.
He
was the goal wasn't to kill.
Yeah, he was only there to kill Caesar. So he thought I mean, I guess maybe because it was dark and he just didn't realize. Mm-hmm. He thought he killed maybe Cornelia and Caesar, but not paying attention or not knowing exactly what Caesar looked like. Like I said, nobody's seen him for 3 years, so they probably just saw the first ape with a girl that looked like the queen, and were like, okay.
Yeah, they shot them both, and it was very like I said.
But I think it's both. It's like, I think it's between like, not only is he shocked because now he sees that he didn't complete his mission, he killed the wrong ape, but now you also got to see what you just caused, and you realize that this is not gonna fly. Yeah. And immediately Caesar jumps through the waterfall and grabs onto the rope, which
is crazy.
Like no hesitation. As soon as he stops shooting, he chases after him, and obviously the colonel cuts the rope. Yeah. And leaves this, and this is like we're like Caesar's like, okay, listen, I can't let this go. Yeah.
Can't let that shit slide.
Yeah, like I thought. He tells Maurice and he tells Rocket and Luca, he's like, listen, you guys lead them to where Blue Eyes found. He leaves Cornelius with Lake was like Blue Eyes' girlfriend or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's like, listen, you guys go to this. He's like, I can't come. Mm-hmm. He's like, I need revenge, which immediately is like, okay, you're becoming Koba immediately, and they don't show that till later on in the movie. Yeah. But immediately, this the first thing you think, like, okay, this whole time you've been the guy where was like, peace is your only option. You don't believe in fighting.
And I think that's when he get the first flashback of Koba.
Yeah, and like immediately you're like, okay, like now you are becoming exactly what you destroyed in the last movie. And I think, like I said, I think it's one of the coolest scenes where like Caesar's out on his own, and then here comes Luca, Rocket, and Maurice, and they pull up, and it's like, yeah, we're not.
He's like on the horse. You see his white ass horse in the back. It's like, who else could it possibly fucking be? And you see Maurice, Luca, and fucking Rocket, obviously. And I thought it was pretty cool because Maurice's character I brought up last week, one of the most likable, the most likable out of all the apes.
And I never really put it together when I was watching the movies, but I mean, Maurice is really just there as a moral compass. Like he's just there to keep Caesar level.
I've felt that since.
I never even put two together. I thought he was just like he was just there to like he's just
very loyal.
Like just a best friend. Like like that's my guy. Like when you have questions or you can't make decisions, I'm here to help you with that. But I mean that he's really
not a ride or die. He is this is what I would do. Yeah. With a clear head and a clear mind.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what it is. Like, he's just got the most level-headedness of it all. And it's like, this is like where like he's been doing it the whole time. And in this movie, for sure, he's seen it
gets to the point where
he literally tells Caesar, like, listen, like I'm here to make sure that you don't lose yourself and you stay true to what you are.
Even if it already was too late, everything that he said obviously rang true for Caesar, even to the end.
And obviously, like that's where you get to the point now where they're riding through the woods and they come across that dude. I'm not sure if he was a soldier or not.
I think he was.
He was dead.
I think he was. I think he was a soldier, and he's bloodied. I think he was.
But the main captain killed him though. It wasn't an ape that killed him. It was
that's later on. I'm talking about when they're in when it's still sunny out, not in the mountains yet. Oh, okay. And then when they find Nova.
He has a wood.
Yeah, he got the wood.
He was like, I'm just gonna set this down.
Yeah, and then he immediately grabs the gun, and Caesar, like no hesitation, shoots him. And then that's when they find Nova, and they realize that now the virus has developed because Nova can't fucking speak. She's her nose is bleeding, and now she cannot speak. So like now you see that the virus is completely developed, and not only just it doesn't kill anymore. Yeah. It just basically turns you into a primate. I mean, it turns you into what the apes were before they got the virus. Yeah. And now that's when we get to the next part. Is when they take Nova up into the mountains because Caesar's like, listen, I'm not going to leave her or I'm not going to bring her with us.
Yeah, Caesar was like, no, we can't, and Maurice was like, I know, but I can't.
I can't leave her. Yeah, and like I think that's also cool. Like, so that's a
Caesar
very
gives
cool
her that death stare, like.
And so that's when they go into the mountains, and this is where you start to see that it is affecting more because you see the 3 soldier bodies, and they're all shot, and you're like, well, who the fuck did that?
Who could have did that?
And then when they pull the dude's mask off, he's still like alive, but he can't talk, and like I guess it also affects their cognitive ability. It's not even just like their speech; like they don't think as quickly either. Like they're not like normal humans anymore. They really are like how monkeys were before they got infected. And then obviously this is where you get the best character in the movie. Like they see the horse getting stolen, and they chase him, and he goes in, he throws the gun back. It's like bad ape,
bad ape.
That's the best character in the movie, man.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Bad Ape. As soon as I seen it, I was like, okay, well, we got a little comedy aspect now, obviously, but also
I think you needed it though in this kind of movie. This movie, if he wasn't in it, this movie would be dark as fuck. Yeah, this movie would be dark as fuck.
So it was nice having him. Obviously, he was raised in a zoo.
Yes.
I forgot where the zoo was at exactly. I think
it might have been somewhere in California. 'Cause I know, like,
I know he got the.
Oh no, it was at the zoo that was close by, because that base where those people are at, that was a zoo.
Yeah, yeah.
And they turned it into a quarantine zone.
Yeah, that's what he was like. He was like,
that's where he was stealing food from. Cause he gets food to Caesar and them, and they're like, "Where'd you get this from?" And he shows them the sign. And it was a zoo that he was at, and it turned into a quarantine zone when the simian flu outbreak happened.
And he was very nervous about going back, and as with anybody, you're saying you don't know if you're gonna live or die.
Because he was like, "I'm not bringing y'all back there." Yeah. He's like, "I'm chilling. I'm
like, you guys can stay here." And he gave Nova back the thing that she was playing with, like, just please, like, stay here, like, let's chill.
And also, this is pretty notable too that the Bad Ape is the first monkey we see like wearing clothes at this point.
So he had that shit on him.
Right? So this is very like, you know, this kind of shows you the development of the apes. For like, okay, when it does get cold, they can wear clothing. Or, obviously, he stole from humans, but
yeah. So obviously, we go through, you know, Bad Ape trying to basically talked him out of it. He was like, I don't want to go. And Caesar basically said, like, this is I need this. Like, basically telling him why he needed it. And he was like, and he I think he mentioned like the colonel.
And I think the reason he does is because I know, like, they say like Bad Ape also had like a pretty tragic like backstory. So
like, something about his kid.
He said something about like, if I do this for you, will you kill him or kill him? He's like, he said maybe. He said that maybe I'll take you. Yeah. And then they obviously cut away, and we get I think that's when we get the moment where was it Luca?
He puts the flower on her ear.
Well, yeah, Luca picks the flower.
Yeah, he puts the flower on Nova's
and
ear.
Obviously it's symbolic because like 2 minutes later, Luca gets
because they go and they're
killed because they go on that top of that mountain. Right?
Yeah, and they get attacked by the soldier out of like nowhere, and he gets shot.
Yeah, he gets like he grabs him, but the shoulder obviously like his fingers aren't in the trigger, so it pops him, and then like the way it happened is like it happened so fast, and then I think was it Rocket end up finishing off the soldier or whatever. It
was Rocket and Luca that fought.
And then Luca like looks up, and then like he realizes he got shot, and he like faints. And then Caesar's like panicking, so they drag him back over to like Bad Ape and Nova. And it was so sad because like Luca was like, at least this time I could protect you. I'm just like,
damn.
Yeah, bro. This movie and this is like another turning point. Like I said, this just adds on to Caesar because Caesar's lost how many apes at this point, and now he just loses one of his.
Losing day one.
Yeah, now he loses.
I'm not gonna lie, they would have killed Maurice out of cry.
Don't do that.
Out of cry.
He loses one of his entourage, and this is where he's like, okay, I'm gonna go off on my own again.
He was
he does do it this time, and like it's kind of where you see like how gruesome that this colonel really is. Like he's full blown against the apes. He's stringing them up, and he realizes that his whole group got captured. Yeah,
basically making them sleep.
He's like stringing them up on crosses and all that. He's like crucifying them, and you know, and then this is where I think Caesar gets captured here.
Yeah,
he gets
Caesar gets captured by Donkey. Donkey sneaks up on him, hits him with a gun, and this is about the next 50 minutes, almost, maybe just 45. Just Caesar basically going through the things that he would have went through if he was a regular ape. I'm talking like being brutalized, you know, beat up, starved to death, like dehydrated.
The woman ape and the kid apes are separated, and then
he sees Cornelius.
Yep. And he sees Lake, which is Blue Eyes' girlfriend, and they're sitting there, and he talks about how they're slaves basically now. Like, you're gonna build stuff for us, and we're gonna use you as our workforce. Yeah. And Caesar sees the old orangutan knocks down the structure on accident, obviously, and he starts getting whipped. And Caesar's like, no, like, stop. Yeah. And so they start whipping Caesar. Yeah. And Caesar, you know, takes that shit. And then even though Caesar stood up for him, Caesar's
like, leave him.
Yeah. and like Caesar like basically like telling me like we just need basic necessities, food and water. And he's like, no. And then he shoots the ape anyway. He shoots the orangutan anyway.
He's like, tell him. He was like, no, tell him to get to work. And it's like 5.
And they literally saved Caesar's life though because he doesn't even tell him. Like Lake, was it Lake? Yeah, Lake, the girlfriend. Yeah. She starts telling him, but she basically tells him like, let's start working again because if not, like they're gonna kill Caesar.
Yeah. So when that happened, I was like, all right, well now they stand with Caesar. Obviously now they got the connection. It's good that they had a connection. And
then they string Caesar up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he asks for water, and they pour the water on him and leave him in the cold overnight.
Yeah, and it was like, all right, well, you asked for this kind of thing. It was like a manipulative thing. Like, you asked for this. So when they dumped the water on him, I was like, damn, that's fucked up. And I was like, damn, it's cold. Yeah. Damn, he about to freeze to death. I was like, and then obviously Caesar survives because he's different. He's like that. And we get to the scene where
this is where they bring him up in the
I think they throw him they first throw him in a cage and was like, well, if he wakes up in the morning.
Yeah, and then they take him up the next day to the colonel.
They say wakes up in the morning, or was it? I thought he was already left the Colonel.
I think it was the tower.
So maybe
scene first.
He already had that conversation with the
so
Colonel because he started breaking the Colonel down. Like I noticed that
the Colonel talking about how he had killed his own kid because he had gotten that illness where he couldn't speak and all that.
He basically was like saying like we need food and water. I noticed that you killed the soldiers. Not another ape did. It was you. That's what you're preparing for. You're not preparing for a war against the apes. You're preparing for a war against other humans.
Yeah. When he's talking about like how his group was like radicalized because he was doing that when he was still with the other military people, and they were like, "Yo, you can't do that."
Yeah.
And he was like, "No," he's like, "I'm not gonna let this illness spread."
Yeah.
And so he killed his son, and then like all these people that agree with him like left, and they're like, "Okay, well, we'll just follow you." Yeah. And now, like I said, it's basically this whole military group's getting ready to come in, wipe them out because they're radicals, and they don't want to keep doing what he's got going on.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure we start learning more about Donkey and how.
And they'd already killed Winter at this point. I think they killed Winter when they first sneak in.
He does a lot. He does a lot of dirty work. Yeah. Donkey's the dirty work guy. He even like get hands on weapons as far as carrying like the apes to where they gotta go. So he has he just has certain moments with Caesar where you're just like, damn, you could tell he's like sympathetic towards Caesar because he doesn't want to hurt him. But I remember Caesar. I forgot what Caesar says. He says something. He cuts the chain. But it wasn't like all right, I'm gonna free you. It's like I'm cutting the chain because I'm about to carry you to basically like somewhere else.
Yeah,
like,
I'm carrying
you somewhere. But he's like, I'm talking to you. Got a weapon in your hand. Like I dare you to do something, but he can't because he's still sympathetic. So we learned a lot more about Donkey, and he has that connection with one of the soldiers. I'm pretty sure that got captured. Yeah, the bald, scruffy beard guy. And he has like they're pretty close, but he doesn't respect the Donkey at all.
They're just cool because they're cool.
And I think what Caesar says like,
I'm pretty sure that's
like you're not a donkey, you're an ape.
Yeah.
And that's when he basically says like there's nothing for them to save. And like if like you save it, I'm saving myself. There's nothing to save. If you save yourself from the humans, what are you saving?
Right.
So obviously that stuck with Donkey. Throughout the rest of the movie, we get obviously the escape plan by Bad Ape and Maurice.
Yeah, they find the tunnels underneath, and like Rocket goes. Well, Nova sneaks up and gives Caesar water because he was like about to die.
Oh yeah, Nova did sneak up. Yeah.
And then Rocket goes out there and distracts the guard because she was about to get caught. He starts acting like an idiot in the middle of the base.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. He's like, I know what I need to do.
And then I think
I've been here before. I don't give a fuck.
And I think it's funny how like the escape plan starts with Caesar giving him the thing, and Rocket hits him with the shit in the side of his head, hard as fuck.
Yeah. Payback. But you get the point where he finally gets sent up after they try to freeze him to death. It's like he gets to work by himself. Yeah. Nobody else can help him.
They were gonna put him in like the quarry or whatever.
Yeah, to send him.
And then when they send him to the quarry, that's when this is like the Colonel basically kills himself. He picks up that doll because Nova had left the doll for Caesar to like comfort him. And it had blood on it, and that literally spells the Colonel's downfall because he carelessly picks up the doll after they let Caesar out.
I was about to say when they sent him to the quarry, he picks up the doll, and I was like, I don't think you should have did that. I was like, where'd you get this from? And that's why when Caesar had it, I was like, okay, these boys actually cooking right now. So then he does the sign language. He's like 37 steps to the adult cage or something like that, and 57 steps to the women and
the women and children.
So obviously that's for them to pop up and obviously try to save them, but
and it all starts that night after his work at the quarry. Like starts with the distraction of the thing, and then they knock the guard out. They take his gun and they take his keys. Yeah, and then they take him underground.
It was funny because the way it happened, when Bad Ape finds that it's 37 steps, he's like 37 right here.
He's funny as hell.
And Maurice was already tearing at the wall, which ends up being the flood, obviously. But he's on his back, he's on his hands and knees, and then Bad Ape he like pets him. he's like, he's like, oh no.
I'm good.
And Maurice the only time Maurice ever showed like anger, just like growls. I'm like, dude, get the fuck on my back. So obviously, it's like it's funny because Bad Ape has like that ET vibe. Yeah. So like when he's poking his head through like the thing, I couldn't stop fucking laughing. Dude, I'm like, are you gonna go through the fucking hole? Are you gonna? Or are you just gonna keep bigger? Looking? Right. Are you gonna shake hands through it? And then obviously, Nova can't talk. She like nudging at Maurice to look at the water, and Maurice panics. Bad Ape falls through, and they notice that they're flooding the underground. So now their plan has to
change up.
So when they capture the guard, it was pretty cool because you see the hands come up and they just yank his ass straight down. And I thought that was like a cool ass moment because that happened so fast. It toss the key back up. And that's when the movie really picks up again. Because it took a long time for them to get this escape.
And it's really funny because at the same time that they free all the apes, that's when the human army just so happens to show up. And so it is like the climax of the movie where, and once again, Caesar could have escaped. He could have let it go, and he says, "No, I can't. Like I just cannot let this go." He climbs up to the thing, and like I think this is like to me like probably the best part of the movie as far as like for characters is where it's like he goes up there and he finds the colonel, and the colonel's already gone. Like that's how quickly that this disease works. Where the colonel's drunk and he already can't speak. He's bleeding from the nose, and the colonel basically, I mean, he can't speak, so he's like, he puts the gun to his head. He's like, "Yo, listen, like, kill me." So he's like, I can't do it. I can't kill humans. And then he leaves out of the thing, and then the gunshot goes off seconds later.
Yeah, he just stands there because Colonel grabs the gun, and he can't watch, so he turns his head, or to the right, and then he shoots himself. So at this point, the soldiers assume that he's the one that shot Colonel.
Yeah.
So they rush in, they start shooting out. He grabs the grenades, he jumps off. This is the most I've ever seen Caesar fucking move ever. he usually real stationary.
My boy was getting active.
He was getting
active.
He jumps off the fucking flag and shit. Crazy ass visual. But, and he's running through, and it's like a whole bunch of explosions.
This is where he decides he's gonna blow up like the fuel tank, so they can blow up the whole facility. And obviously on his way, he gets. Which, like I said, this is like the annoying part.
The second soldier that he captures. The more scarier one who just uses the crossbow. He never shoots.
And this is Preacher. This is the one that was like, "Oh, you're the one we've been looking for."
Yep. He never shot until this moment.
And then this is where he hits Caesar with the crossbow bolt, and Caesar grabs the grenades, and he's about to get killed. He's reloading the crossbow, and this is where Red hits him with the damn grenade launcher, like completely obliterated.
Donkey has his first because the other soldier, he's like screaming at him like, "Donkey, like give me the grenade launch."
And I think it's cool because the soldier that kills him is the one he was cool with.
Yep.
So as soon as he sees that he killed a human, no hesitate.
Like a singular person getting killed by a grenade launcher is crazy though. Like one singular person, like motherfuckers do not like you that bad.
And blew like his helmet off. And
bro. I say he literally turns him to nothing. Like he literally gets blown apart.
I thought that was pretty cool.
And then like obviously like it's cool to see like how Caesar gets the grenade belt and he blows the fuel tanks, and obviously, you know, the humans think they won. When they see the building blow up, they're like, "Oh, we won! Like the battle's over." No, Avalanche comes through, and all. I think it's cool how the monkeys obviously use their ability to climb the trees.
Yeah, I thought it was also funny too when like the humans they just turn around and like, and just all look at them, but then the avalanche comes, so they like their attention just turns back because like it's do or die now, and obviously they all die.
And they all die to it
because humans
can't.
Obviously they can't climb this shit, but Caesar running through that avalanche is like a cool ass visual too because I thought that's how he was gonna die. I thought they were never gonna find him.
Right.
He obviously survives.
Climb bows in the tree.
Yeah. So you get the point where Bad Ape is running with the Kid Apes, I think, and he's just like staring at the like all the kids like run. All the little baby apes like run. And he's just staring at it. He's like, no. it's like dude, react.
Right, like, get out the way.
So,
and I think it's cool too because like, I don't mean to cut you off. This is like a thing too where because they don't realize that other apes were affected by this at this point. Yeah, they only thought the ones that Caesar had freed were able to talk. So this shows you that, like I said, the virus influences more than just with that gas. If the virus is just letting any ape, if they're infected with it, get this ability.
Yeah. So it was nice to see, obviously, that Caesar survives, obviously, the avalanche, and they all finally go to.
And they're on. They go through. You see them go through the desert. Yeah. And then they finally make it to the mountaintop where they're at, like that new oasis.
Where they want to be at. They want to settle here now.
And Maurice like notices that Caesar's not doing good.
Because Caesar's just sitting there, and he's like heavy breathing, I think, and he's like why like, you're not down there with your fan, like your only son now. That's all you got.
He's like at the very tippy top, like under the tree.
And then like you just notice like right under his arm, and Maurice touches it. And I'm just like, nah, I'm not gonna cry over an ape. I'm not gonna cry over an ape. I'm not gonna cry over an ape.
I would
have. Then Maurice start talking. He said your son will know who his father was.
Yeah,
like,
he'll know
not
your
gonna
legacy.
cry over an ape. I'm like, not gonna cry over an ape. The sun is bright. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Like,
you was watching
at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, why am I crying over an ape? So like, this is crazy. Like, I cannot believe this is going on. But you know, obviously, we get the end where Caesar can accept that he did everything he could do.
Yeah, he did what he was supposed to do.
He's dying. He's not gonna get saved.
He led them to an oasis now where apes could like be free. Like there's no human interaction there at that point.
So when he falls over, and still Maurice, like for whatever reason, like don't know why he want me to cry for ape so fucking bad. He's like, Caesar. I'm like, why say that?
Hey, you just talk to this nigga.
I'm sad as fuck. You just said he could go, and then he go. You still like, I'm like, why you say that? Now I'm crying and shit. I'm sad as fuck. Cornelius playing with Nova. He don't even know that his dad just fell over and died. I'm just like, fuck, man. Like this is there's so much pain.
I think it's just
that last 5 minutes is just so much pain.
It is, but it's such a good ending to it.
It's a perfect ending.
It's like for a character like Caesar's probably the perfect protagonist in a movie, and he gets the perfect ending.
Literally.
Like, you know, say like for how he develops from the first to the end, and like I'm happy that I would rather him have died at the end of the trilogy than them be like do this time jump and he just died normally or something like that. He died protecting the apes at the end of the day. You know, he died how you would expect a leader to.
I say keep him for the 300-year jump.
just cryo freeze him.
Like, he got a different type of gene. Like,
Captain America can survive. Why can't Caesar?
There is a Caesar in the new one, bro. Proxima Caesar, bro.
Yeah, I heard. But obviously, I mean, also it's pretty cool that like they have Nova, and Nova is a character in the originals.
Yeah, that's like the callback.
Cornelius,
like,
I think, is one of the apes' names. Yep. Like it's just
all the stuff. It's all callbacks. Like if you see the original one, like a lot of the stuff is all callbacks,
so
all references, Easter eggs.
Stuff like that was actually pretty cool.
And I think it's funny that she got her name from a car.
Yeah, it's like she picked up the thing and like she kept rubbing on it. Obviously, she liked it, but she can't say that because
she can't speak
disease and whatnot. But I mean, obviously, it's not as good as Dawn, but like you said, the character interaction, the character development, and it's like even like just Koba haunting him. It's like he can't admit that he Koba until like Maurice says it, and then he's like, you know, I am Koba, but it is what.
I think Maurice calling him out is like really what does it.
Like it is what it is. Like I'm gonna die for my apes instead of having them die for me.
Right.
So it was a big difference in how Caesar felt about protecting the apes and how Koba felt like just fighting and like whatever happens. As long as I survive, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought all in all, the trilogy itself, I'll probably give like 8.5 out of 10. In general, I think I gave like first one.
I think
7.
the first one was like a 7.5. The second one was a 10. I think the third one I gave like an 8.5.
Yeah, so it's like I gave like
8.5, 9.
Because I really do think like in general like every something in every movie.
And they're so easy to watch. I think that's what what helps. Like they're not like the last are over 2 hours, I guess technically, but they don't feel like 2 hours.
It's not a drag.
It's not like a slog because they start immediately. It's from the very beginning, move to the end. Like the slowest one by far is the first one because it's a lot of exposition.
War obviously like they have that, you know, that 45 minutes. I'm just like building up that escape.
Yeah.
But the build up is a lot of character development. You get a lot of good stuff out of that.
No, yeah, but it's cool. I can't wait to see the new one. Like I said, I know you said that you heard it's like pretty slow to start, but I've heard only good things about it.
Yeah,
as
they
far
said
as,
that
like, as a whole
when it picks up, it's crazy.
Proxima Caesar just seems like such a cool villain.
Yeah, they said
him being a villain is crazy. Caesar taught the apes in the beginning and then like flip it on its head.
Yeah, it's like how using a legacy for your personal gain.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's a cool idea for a villain. So pretty cool. Yeah, I can't wait. But man, yeah, I'm happy we did this trilogy. Like this was like something I thought that we would like, and so I'm glad I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah,
you know
it was. I mean,
I didn't watch the third. I watched the first two like years ago, but I didn't watch the third one.
So this is your first time seeing the third one?
Yeah.
The third, I said the War. I think like I could watch again. I don't want to obviously cry over it, but it's like it's just like Maurice's character makes that scene so much better.
No, absolutely.
He's not an aggressive person. You know, he obviously.
He's just that moral compass. Yeah, he's just the good. He's just that good side.
Yeah, I mean, it'd been nice. I mean, even if they did like just like a little, you know, little post credit scene of Maurice with Cornelius or something, like couldn't give me that moment,
I'm gonna go.
Because we never really seen them interact. We only seen
and we'll actually be interested to see like if anything happens. Like I wonder in the new one if they talk about anything like that.
Yeah, Maurice is definitely my favorite character. Obviously, not talking about like the main. Obviously against Caesar like Koba. Like Maurice is easily like.
I think he's like the most likable, like by a lot.
Nobody touches Maurice for me.
And he really doesn't even talk.
Until the end, until like the last like hour, he says a couple of things, but nothing too crazy. Like he has some obviously really good moments with like the sign language and whatnot. Always was there for Caesar. I mean, like can't find a better right hand man.
Nah, you really can't.
Maurice,
I swear.
Besides like not Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson, nah. All right, give me my $20 bill, boy.
It's like Alexander Hamilton, bro. That's what I meant, bro.
You got Andrew Jackson.
But overall, yeah. I mean, I would definitely be rewatching these probably relatively soon, actually, because I mean I was on like a time crunch. It's like I still enjoy them, but certain things I will rewatch just to like pick up on different things.
I can't see. I want to see what we watch next.
Yeah, I don't know because
that's on y'all, man.
You mentioned Doc Rivers earlier. Obviously, they got Clipped coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see it because you know the storyline in general is. I don't know how you're gonna stretch over a full show.
Right.
Should be interesting.
I know the boys is in two more weeks.
Yeah.
Spencer James about to get drafted. Come on now.
Nice.
Yeah, we're not watching All American.
We're not watching All American.
Let's talk about it.
Not watching All
stop.
American. I refuse to watch it. I know you gotta watch it because you already emotionally invested. You already like 18 seasons.
You gotta finish it at this point, bro.
I got to.
You're 18 seasons in, bro.
Him and Marvin Harrison Jr. going neck and neck, bro. I gotta watch it.
Yeah,
Like,
he ain't signed his likeness over, so it's gonna be Michael Harris Sr.
Michael Harris Sr.
Ain't gonna be no Marvin Harrison Jr. and that shit. But anything else I gotta add?
No, really.
That was a fun trilogy. I mean, just to get us from a couple weeks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, give us something to watch and talk about on here besides just like the sports world. I feel like we've been on sports for a lot.
Yeah, I mean.
So now the movies can start to pick up because we're heading into that
we're
season.
really about to get into obviously
TV and
good
movies.
The Boys gonna. I would say occupy dinner all the summer, damn near. So.
That's what we'll do. Maybe we should just kind of do like a recap of The Boys before that comes out.
Yeah, y'all know how you can sim in video games like franchise. You can sim to the next week. Well, I can't just sim to when The Boys come out. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard anticipating for like that's how I feel about Yellow Jackets, man. If I could just simulate get my Yellow Jackets, I'll be a happy man. I swear I'll be a very happy man.
Production.
I need that shit to hurry up. I need From to hurry up as well. I already mentioned that a few times on the show. It's just a lot coming out these last 6 months of the year. Like it's gonna be a lot.
It's usually that time of the year where everything starts to pick up.
I told my man that he said he gonna do that for Invincible. I said shit.
Actually, you know what next week is?
3 years of your life.
You know what next week is? Next week is a full year.
Oh yeah, May 25th.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, shit, no more. 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days have been a full year since
we would have been doing this for a year.
Yeah, because we did it a week before Spider-Man came out.
Yep.
Damn.
We did Guardians of the Galaxy. Ain't that crazy? It's been a year.
Make a year post for us.
Yeah,
like happy anniversary.
Yeah, good shit, y'all. Good shit.
Man, it's been a while, but bumpy road to start, obviously. But
the crazy first few months, but it's been chill since.
Yeah, it's been chill. It's been chill since we joined the merge. So, overall, we thank you guys for the last year. I mean, anybody's been here since the apartment days. White wall, no props. Legs out, you know what I'm saying?
Shorts.
Then y'all had the little plant in the middle.
See my Doonchi, like.
Y'all had the little plant in the middle. I'm like, yo, he's not watering that plant.
Like, nah, it's fake as fuck. Ain't no sun in there. Appreciate all the support, obviously, over the last year. It's been a blessing for us to provide the content that we do. Try to give you guys something different every week that you can attach to. But obviously, say these next few months, we're gonna be trying to kill it with the TV shows, with the movies, and all that. It's not much sports. I mean, even watching baseball sporadically, I'm not gonna come here and talk about baseball.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't talk about baseball.
All due respect, I'm just not doing that. It's so many games I could talk about that anytime. It's just not. It's not a priority. With NFL, NBA, it's like kind of a little bit of a time crunch. Bigger sport in terms of obviously popularity and whatnot. But thank you guys again. Like for the last year, has been.
It's crazy to think about.
Literally been a year.
Yeah. Well, not for Damon.
I'm just here.
Yeah.
My shit's in September.
But thank you guys for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you guys next week.